All right, so are you ready to dive deep today? We've got a guide all about, well, it's about taking things to the next level, you know, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah, I think our listeners will know what you're talking about today.
That's right. So the guide that someone sent in is called Oral Pleasure Secret that gives her explosive orgasms.
Catchy title.
Yeah.
It's a little much,
Yeah.
but it's got some good stuff in there. It does some good
yeah.
information.
Yeah, so what is the first thing that this guide says about, you know, giving her amazing oral sex?
It actually starts with comfort, making sure both partners are comfortable.
Oh, that makes sense. Because if you're uncomfortable, then...
Exactly. And it's not just about feeling good. It's also about access, you know, being able to...
Oh, so like positioning and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
It even says to put a pillow under her hips.
Oh, interesting.
It's all about understanding, like, how her body works and
Right.
how to make things feel better.
So it's like you're setting her up strategically.
Like setting the stage
The stage. Oh,
for an amazing performance.
I like that.
Speaking of performance,
Oh.
the next thing is the build-up.
Yeah.
Like, you want to make her wait for it?
So we're talking about anticipation?
Anticipation, exactly.
Okay.
You know, it's like
It's a slow burn.
slow burn.
Okay.
Not rushing to the main event.
Right. So like a good chef.
A chef. who-
Takes their time.
Exactly. They don't just throw everything in the pan at once. You have to savor every step.
I like it. So what are some of the things that it suggests for this buildup before the main event?
It says to start with kisses, like on the inner thighs,
Oh, okay.
then slowly working your way up.
Towards the clitoris.
Yeah. It's all about like gradually increasing that intimacy.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it says that this makes everything feel more intense.
I mean, how long are we supposed to wait?
Well, it doesn't give like a specific time.
Oh.
It's more about reading her body language.
Oh, so you go at her pace.
Her pace, yeah.
Okay.
Like dance. It's not a race.
I like that analogy.
And it also says that communication is really important.
Oh, so like
And so
asking her
ask her what she likes.
what she likes.
Because that can be really valuable.
Isn't that kind of awkward
It can be awkward.
to just ask her?
Yeah. But wouldn't you rather know
That's true.
than just guess?
Okay, yeah, I guess so.
So yeah, it's good to communicate.
Okay, so we've got the stage set. We're taking it slow, and we're communicating. So now,
Now it suggests starting with the tip of your tongue
okay,
and using slow, deliberate movements
okay.
around the outer vulva before going directly to the clitoris.
Oh, so we're still building up to the main event,
Building up.
but
yeah,
eventually we do get to the clitoris?
you do.
Okay, good.
But even then,
Okay,
it emphasizes a nuanced approach,
okay.
starting gently,
Mhm.
you know, with consistent stimulation.
And paying attention to how she reacts.
Her reactions.
Okay.
So like her breathing,
Oh, yeah.
her moans.
Her body language.
Yeah, all of that.
Right.
It's about being present, responsive,
So it's kind of like you're reading her mind
reading her mind.
and figuring out what feels good without her having to tell you.
Exactly.
Well, that's easier said than done.
It does take practice,
But the more you get pay attention.
the better you get at it.
Okay, so it's like learning a new language.
A new language.
Yeah,
The language of pleasure.
I like that.
Yeah.
And so it all comes together. We're creating a comfortable environment. We're taking our time. We're communicating. We're paying attention to her. It sounds like a recipe for amazing sex.
It is, and this guide actually has a name for this whole process.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it calls it the start-stop method.
Oh, okay. That sounds a little intense.
It is intense.
Okay.
So it's all about playing with those peaks and valleys of pleasure,
Okay.
like bringing her close to climax and then backing off,
Really?
Yeah.
So you're like teasing her?
teasing her.
Okay, but is that a little mean?
It might sound mean,
Yeah.
but it actually intensifies the experience
Okay.
because it builds up her desire.
Oh, so it's like delaying gratification.
Exactly.
Okay, I can see how that would work. But what are you supposed to do during those breaks?
So during the breaks, it says to shift your focus.
Oh.
Like maybe kiss her thighs,
Oh.
whisper something in her ear.
Okay.
You know, just keep that connection going.
Keep the tension building.
Tension, yeah.
Okay, I like that.
So yeah, it's not just about stopping. It's about replacing it with something else.
Something else sensual.
Exactly.
Okay. But how long do you hold back before you go back?
It says about 30 seconds.
Okay.
But again, it's not about like a specific time.
Okay.
It's about reading her cues.
Or cues.
So you'll get a feel for when it's the right time to go back.
To go back. Okay. So it's a delicate dance.
It is a dance.
Okay.
And that's where consistency comes in.
Consistency.
So once you find a rhythm and a technique that she enjoys, you want to stick with it.
Oh, so you're not like changing it up all the time.
Not all the time.
Okay.
You can introduce variations later on.
Okay.
But you want to establish a good foundation first.
So we're building anticipation. We're being consistent. We're focusing on her responses. This is good stuff.
It is good stuff.
Yeah.
And it goes even deeper than that
Well,
because it talks about emotional connection.
okay.
That's really important too.
Right. So we're not just talking about the physical stuff.
Not just the physical,
Yeah.
expressing appreciation,
Oh, yeah.
asking for feedback.
Cuddling afterwards.
Yeah, all of that.
So you're making her feel good.
You want her to feel cherished,
Cherish.
not just physically,
Right.
but emotionally.
Okay.
And these little things
Hmm.
can actually make the physical intimacy even better.
Wow. That's actually really nice. This guide is full of surprises.
It is.
Yeah, it's not just about technique.
Yeah.
It's about creating a real connection.
Real connection.
Okay.
And it gives some specific ideas for how to do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So for example, it suggests using your hands,
Oh, okay.
like tracing circles around the vulva,
Okay.
or even gentle finger insertion.
And of course, always being respectful of her preferences.
Absolutely. Communication is key.
This is so fascinating. There's so much to learn.
There is.
It's like we're peeling back the layers of intimacy
We are.
and discovering all these new depths.
New depths.
All right. Before we go any further, I want to point something out.
Okay.
This guide is clearly written from a male perspective.
Yes, it is.
So it makes you wonder,
It does.
what would a guide like this look like if it was written from a woman's point of view?
Oh, that's a good question.
Right.
It makes you think about things differently.
It does.
Because there's always more than one side to the story.
That's right.
And it's important to be open to different perspectives.
Yes. What works for one person might not work for another.
Exactly.
This has been so insightful. I feel like I've already learned so much.
You too.
We're just getting started.
Yeah, we've only just scratched the surface.
So much more to unpack.
So much more.
Okay, well, stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back. I have to say, we're only on part 2 of this deep dive, and I'm already feeling like a changed man.
That's great to hear.
Yeah. So, last time we were talking about, like, setting the stage,
The foundation.
the foundation. Yeah. And we even got into that start and stop thing.
Just start stop method.
Yeah. But I want to go back to something you mentioned about teasing.
Oh, yeah.
You said that the guide talks about, like, incorporating teasing throughout the experience,
It does.
but it didn't really go into detail.
Right.
So can you tell me more about that? What kind of teasing are we talking about here?
So in this context, teasing is all about building anticipation,
Okay.
making every touch feel more intense.
Oh.
Like you want to create that tension.
So how do you do that?
Well, this suggests using your breath.
Your breath?
Yeah, like just breathe on her skin,
Oh, okay.
like warm air.
So like a gentle exhale.
Gentle exhale.
Okay.
You can also use a very light touch,
Oh, okay.
like barely
It's a tease.
a tease.
Okay.
And of course, whispering in her ear.
Oh, yeah.
That always works.
So it's kind of like you're building a fire.
Building a fire.
You start with those little sparks,
Little spark.
and then you slowly build up the heat
Exactly.
until it's in...
A raging inferno.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Okay.
So you want to keep her engaged,
Engage.
both physically and mentally.
Okay.
And this is where synchronization comes in,
Synchronization?
matching your energy to hers.
Oh, okay.
So like if she's moving fast,
Yeah.
you move fast.
If she's moving slow?
You slow down.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like you're dancing together.
Dancing together.
I like that.
You don't want to step on her toes.
Metaphorically.
You find a flow that works for both of you.
Flow.
Yeah.
It's a conversation through touch.
Okay.
You're giving and receiving.
I'm really liking this guide.
Me too.
Hmm.
So,
It's got a lot of good stuff in it.
what else does it say?
Well, we haven't talked about aftercare yet.
Oh, yeah. That's important too.
It is, because intimacy doesn't just end with the orgasm.
Right. It's not just a hit and run.
No.
So, what does the guide say about aftercare?
It says to create a space for her to decompress.
Oh.
Come down from that high.
So, like,
Just hold her close.
yeah.
Maybe give her a massage.
Okay.
Just be present with her.
So you're acknowledging that she just experienced something powerful
Yeah.
and she needs a moment.
A moment
Oh,
to
yeah.
process it all.
So it's about showing her that you care.
You care.
Yeah.
Right.
Not just about your own satisfaction.
Exactly.
This is really making me think about things differently.
Me too.
So it's not just about the act itself, it's
Yeah.
about the whole experience.
The whole experience.
Okay.
And this ties into the guide's overall message.
What's that?
It's about approaching intimacy with generosity
Okay.
and a genuine desire to make your partner feel good.
So it's not about getting off.
No.
It's about giving.
Giving
Okay.
and creating a shared experience.
A shared experience? That's really beautiful.
It is.
Okay.
Remember we were talking about those creative ways?
Oh, yeah? To amplify the experience?
Okay,
You had like the
looking-
feathers and the ice cubes?
That was interesting.
So it's all about engaging the senses.
The senses.
Trying different things.
Okay.
Like different textures,
Textures.
temperatures.
Okay.
You can even use flavored lubricants.
Oh, wow.
It's all about experimentation.
Yeah, with all this experimentation, you have to be careful.
Careful.
Yeah.
You need to make sure she's comfortable
Comfortable.
with everything.
So communication is key.
Communication is key.
Okay. So this is like a whole new world of possibilities, but it can be a little daunting.
It can be.
So,
Yeah,
what advice does the guide give for navigating all of this?
it says, the best way to build confidence is through practice.
Practice makes perfect.
Not perfect,
Well,
better.
better.
Yeah.
So the more you do it.
The more comfortable you'll become. But it's not just about becoming like a technician.
No, it's not about that.
So
It's about understanding your partner
understanding
and her desires
Okay.
and responding to her cues.
So it's a journey
A journey
for both of you.
for both of you.
This is really making me rethink my whole approach to intimacy.
Me too.
It's not just about the physical act.
No.
It's about creating a connection,
Connection.
building trust,
Trust.
and being present in the moment.
Being present.
Okay.
And learning as you go.
You know, as we've been talking about all this, I keep thinking about how this guide is from a man's perspective.
It is.
So, what do you think a woman would say?
What would a woman say?
Yeah.
What kind of advice would she give? That's a great question.
Right.
I think it would be really interesting to hear her perspective.
Because she might emphasize different things.
She might.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it.
The beauty of what?
The beauty of intimacy.
Oh, okay.
There are so many different ways to experience it.
That's right.
And what works for one person.
Might not work for another.
Exactly.
This has been so eye-opening.
Me too.
I'm already seeing things in a new light.
A new light.
Okay.
Well, stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive.
Where we'll explore.
We'll explore the woman's perspective.
I can't wait. Welcome back to the deep dive. You know, we've been talking about this guide to oral sex techniques for men, and it's been pretty wild, right?
It has been an interesting journey.
But I think the most important thing we've learned is that it's not just about the physical stuff. It's about creating a connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this guide, even though it's written from a man's point of view, it does a good job of emphasizing that.
I agree.
So, we've talked about all these techniques and tips, but I keep wondering, what would a woman say?
Ah, yes. The elusive female perspective.
Right, like,
Oh,
what if we had a guide written by women for men?
that would be fascinating.
I think it would be so different.
I think so too.
Because women often talk about feeling desired,
Yes.
but not just physically. It's about feeling desired on an emotional level.
and an intellectual level.
Yeah, so I think a guide written by women would probably focus on those things.
Like what kind of things?
Oh,
Yeah.
you know, like genuine compliments,
Oh, yeah.
attentive listening,
Mm-hmm.
understanding a man's desires.
And his insecurities.
Yeah, so it's not just about going through the motions.
It's about making him feel seen
seen.
and appreciated.
Okay.
Because when a man feels that way, it can actually enhance his physical response.
Oh, wow. So it's like a positive feedback loop.
Exactly.
You make him feel good emotionally.
And it makes him feel good physically.
And it makes you feel good.
It all comes back around.
This is amazing.
And, you know, a guide from a woman's perspective. Might also talk about male erogenous zones.
Oh, yeah. There are other places besides the obvious one.
Exactly.
And I bet a lot of men would be surprised.
To learn about all the different ways they can be touched
Touched and stimulated.
and pleased.
This is blowing my mind.
It's all about expanding our understanding of pleasure.
I'm so glad we had this conversation
Me too.
because it's really made me think about things differently.
And remember, there's no one right way to do this.
That's right.
What works for one person might not work for another.
So it's important to be open-minded
And to communicate,
and to be respectful.
always.
I feel like this deep dive has been a real journey.
A journey of discovery.
I've learned so much.
Me too.
And I'm feeling really inspired.
Inspired to what?
Inspired to approach intimacy with a sense of curiosity and wonder.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. And to keep learning and growing.
Because the journey never really ends.
It doesn't. Well, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive.
It's been my pleasure.
And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. We'll see you next time.